Hello, my dear friends. Thank you for being here with me today. My name doesn't matter anymore because the person I used to be is dead. I greet you with honesty, trembling hands, and a heart that has finally chosen truth over fear. I am an ex-witch, and what I am about to share is not theory, not superstition, but a confession born from years inside darkness. I stayed silent for too long, but as 2026 approaches, something must be said. The first money you spend in a new year is not random. I know this because I once helped decide how that moment would be used against people. I was trained to watch, to influence, to anchor financial destinies without them knowing. Today I speak so you are not controlled the way I once controlled others. Listen carefully because freedom begins with awareness, and awareness begins with truth spoken out loud. When I was deep in witchcraft, the beginning of a year was never just a date change. It was a doorway. We called it a financial gate. January was sacred to us, not because of hope, but because of vulnerability. People were tired, emotional, making quick decisions. The very first money they spent carried intention, emotion, and direction. I was taught that money is not just paper, it is agreement. Whatever emotion ruled your first transaction became the tone of your financial flow. If it was fear, desperation, indulgence, or loss, that energy followed you month after month. We didn't need to steal money directly. We needed people to open the door themselves, unknowingly, with their first choice of the year. That is why I am speaking now before you step into 2026 blindly. I remember the rituals clearly, and even saying this makes my chest tight. We would sit in circles before New Year's Eve, focusing not on individuals, but on masses. The goal was simple influence first spending. Sales, discounts, urgency, emotional triggers. These were tools, not accidents. We knew people would rush to buy out of anxiety or impulse. The moment they did, the financial pattern was sealed. It wasn't magic like movies show. It was psychological, spiritual, and emotional manipulation combined. The first purchase was like signing a contract without reading it. I watched people struggle all year, wondering why money slipped through their fingers. They blamed luck, economy, fate. They never knew the door they opened on day one was still open in December. What haunts me the most is how innocent people were. Parents buying out of guilt, youth spending to feel powerful, adults spending to escape stress. The energy behind the spending mattered more than the amount. Even a small purchase made in anxiety carried heavy weight. We were taught that money follows belief, and belief is strongest at beginnings. The first transaction sets a rhythm, like the first note of a song. Every note after follows its tune. I used to smile while teaching others this knowledge. Thinking power made me safe, but power without truth eats you alive. That is why I left. That is why I speak. I don't want your first financial step in 2026 to be guided by fear the way we counted on it. Let me tell you something no one told you before. When you spend your first money, your subconscious declares what money means to you for that year. If you spend it on panic, money becomes panic. If you spend it on escape, money becomes escape. If you spend it on debt, money chases debt. We didn't need spells when humans programmed themselves so perfectly. I look back now and realize how trapped I was too. Even my own finances were cursed by my intentions. Darkness always lies about control. It promises mastery but delivers chains. I am breaking mine by telling you this. The first money you spend in 2026 should be conscious, calm, and intentional, not rushed or emotional. I know some of you are skeptical, and you should be. Question everything, including me. But understand this is not superstition, it is alignment. Your mind, spirit, and habits align at the beginning of a cycle. In witchcraft, we exploited cycles. We knew beginnings were powerful because humans assign meaning to them. That meaning becomes behavior, and behavior becomes reality. The first transaction becomes a silent statement. This is how I treat money. And money listens. I saw people who spent intentionally thrive without knowing why. I saw others struggle endlessly without understanding the source. Knowledge was hidden on purpose. Darkness survives in ignorance. Light grows in understanding. There is something else I must confess. We targeted January mornings. The first hours of the year were watched closely. People scrolling, buying, clicking, spending without presence. The more distracted the person, the easier the influence. When someone spent with gratitude or purpose, we lost power over them. That's why chaos was encouraged. Noise, urgency, emotional marketing. I helped design some of it. I regret that deeply. If you remember nothing else, remember this: slow down before your first purchase. Ask yourself why you are spending. That single pause can break a cycle that was meant to trap you all year. I left witchcraft because I realized darkness never creates. It only redirects what already exists. Your money carries your effort, your time, your life force. The first place you send it defines its journey. When I stepped out, I was afraid. I had been taught that leaving meant loss, punishment, poverty. Lies. The moment I chose intention over fear, things changed. Not magically, but steadily. That's when I understood the truth behind the manipulation we used. The power was never ours. It was always yours. We just waited for you to give it away unconsciously. As 2026 approaches, many of you are hoping it will be your year. Hope alone is not enough. Direction matters. Your first spending decision is a declaration. Make it one of honor, not impulse. It doesn't need to be religious, mystical, or dramatic. It needs to be aligned, something that represents growth, responsibility, or gratitude. When we saw that kind of spending, we knew we had lost access to that person. They were protected by awareness. I want that protection for you now, even if it costs me being believed. I still remember faces of people I never met, yet affected deeply. That weight stays with me. This is part of my repentance. Speaking truth is how I dismantle what I once built. The first money you spend in 2026 will echo louder than you think. Not because of magic, but because of meaning. Meaning shapes habits. Habits shape outcomes. We used symbols, but humans live by symbols too. A new year is one of the strongest symbols there is. Don't let it be hijacked by stress, fear, or distraction. You may ask, what should I spend it on? I won't control you the way darkness does. I will only say this: spend with intention, not emotion. Spend with clarity, not urgency. Spend as the person you want to become, not the one you are trying to escape. Even choosing to save instead of spend can be powerful if done consciously. In witchcraft, resistance was our enemy. Awareness dismantled everything. You don't need rituals to be free. You need presence. That is the truth I was never supposed to share. I know this message will make some uncomfortable. That's good. Comfort kept people asleep. Discomfort wakes you up. When you feel that pause before spending, honor it. That pause is your power returning. I ignored mine for years. I traded it for false security and secret knowledge. It nearly destroyed me. If my voice shakes through this story, it's because truth carries weight. But it also carries freedom. I want you to enter 2026 free, not unknowingly bound by your first unconscious choice. The irony is painful. We taught people that money controlled them, while secretly knowing they controlled money through belief and behavior. Darkness always flips truth upside down. I am flipping it back. Your financial year is not decided by stars, spells, or strangers. It begins with you, with awareness, with intention, with that first step. Don't underestimate beginnings. We never did. That's why they were targeted. If you feel fear listening to this, breathe. Fear is not a warning here. It is residue. Let it go. You are not cursed. You were never powerless. You were simply uninformed. Information is liberation. That is why testimonies like mine matter. I am not proud of my past, but I refuse to let it remain useful to darkness. Take this knowledge and use it for good. That alone breaks more chains than you realize. I left everything behind when I walked away. Friends, identity, false power. What I gained was peace. And peace changes how you spend, how you choose, how you live. When peace guides your first financial step, your year unfolds differently. Not perfectly, but intentionally. That difference is everything. I have lived both sides. Believe me when I say awareness is stronger than any manipulation I once practiced. As the clock turns and 2026 begins, remember my voice if nothing else. Pause, reflect, choose. Let your first spending moment be a declaration of clarity. Darkness thrives on speed. Light grows in stillness. I learned that too late, but you don't have to. That is why I speak now, openly, without masks. Some will mock this story. Some will feel seen. Some will quietly change one small habit and never tell anyone why their year felt different. That is enough for me. I don't need applause. I need truth to travel further than secrecy ever did. If you've stayed with me this long, thank you. Listening itself is an act of intention. You are already more aware than you were before this video began. That awareness will protect you in ways you may never notice, and that is the most powerful protection of all. I am no longer a witch. I am a witness to how subtle control works and how easily it collapses when exposed. Let 2026 begin with consciousness, not compulsion. Let your money follow your values, not your fears. This is my confession, and this is my warning wrapped in hope. The first money you spend in 2026 is not small. Treat it with respect. Treat yourself with awareness, and walk into the new year awake. Thank you for listening to my truth.